Episode 4091, Trust the Nudge.
Moms, it's time to rediscover, rejuvenate, and renew who you are in mind, body, and spirit. Welcome to Create Your Now, Your Best Selfie, the show to help you do just that. Here's your host, certified life coach, personal trainer, and nutritionist, Christiane Wargo.
Happy day. It's Friday. Yay! Time to get the dancing shoes on. Come on. It's the weekend. And that means what? You get to rest. You don't have to be a parent anymore. Oh, wait. That never ends. That's why it's Confessions of an Upset Mama. Trust the Nudge. For those of you who are brand new to Create Your Now, welcome to this incredible family. I'm so delighted of your presence. If you already even had the opportunity, you want to head on over to createyournow.com, where you can learn more and sign up for the K.I.S.S newsletter, the Keep It Simple Strategy, Everyday Solutions to Live, Love, and Impact. Well, this episode is brought to you by AIM, Inspiring Connection and Community. Well, I really do hope that you're making some great connection this week with your family, with your colleagues, with your community. You know, sometimes we just take for granted our relationships. I mean, literally in general. Specifically, though, within our own four walls. And so, you know, Fridays, it's confession day, and I think we need to be real. We got it tough. And guess what? It's summertime. So it's tougher. We've got to survive summertime. And you'll get through it. Don't count down the days already that, we get to send the kids back to school. I want you to think about, what does this make possible? What can we do? I want you to look at it as an adventure. Because, you know, as parents, we gather countless observations, right, about our children over time. We see them. We watch them grow. We watch them stumble. We watch them learn and laugh. We see their patterns, too, and their behaviors, and glimpses of who they truly are beneath the surface. When something happens, you're like, oh, and then they respond, you're like, make note. And then something else happens, you respond or you make note, and you're like, mm-hmm. And you see this. And when you're deep in the trenches of raising a child, you get to know them inside and out. And sometimes you just feel it. Something feels a little off. That gut feeling or inner whisper, trust the nudge. And it's that quiet but insistent voice inside the mama, right? Your divining rod, some would say. Or to me, in my opinion, I would say the Holy Spirit. Pay attention to this. It's your mom dar. Or for you guys, your dad, it's your dad dar. And it's telling you, pay attention, make note, pay attention. It's the knowing that doesn't always come with clear reasons or words. You just simply know. You've watched long enough, you know your child well enough, and you're like, this is off. Something's not right. And this is not about paranoia or being panicky or overthinking or being overwhelmed as a mom. It's about trusting yourself enough to hear what your instincts are telling you. The mom dar, right? Bing, 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 bing. Even if you can't quite put it into sentences. I'm sure you can think about a time where your kid came home from school and you're like, something's not right. And you ask, hey, how was your day? It's fine, Mom. And off they go, and you go do your things, and dinner comes up and you talk about things, but there's just this disconnect. Something's not working. It's a little off. Maybe you watch a favorite show together, whatever, and they're just not into it like they used to be, which was like only a week ago. And you're like, hey, how was it today at whatever? How was your test or whatever was going on, right? You try to spark some conversation. Oh, that's fine, Mom. It's great. Like, something's off. A few days later, you find out that they had a kind of a blow up with their best friend. And it wasn't just a blow up. It almost got into a full fist fight. Words were shared. Relationship seems to be broken and irreparable. Trust the nudge. You got to trust the mom dar. Trust what God is telling you inside. That gut feeling. Now, I'm also saying at the same time, don't sit there and allow yourself to be like, oh my goodness, what if? It could be, what if? Oh no. Like, don't go down that rabbit trail. Okay, let's put our head on straight, right? We can't be a squirrel about the whole thing. But we can go to our knees in prayer. We can ask God to lead. And we can watch the behaviors. We can pay attention. We can ask the questions. We can absolutely, positively observe our child in real time. And sometimes it's hard because here's the thing. What if you do know what's bothering your child and you're like, oh, now I got to let them figure it out because we've had this conversation before and we've talked about it. And I said, if she wanted help, she would come to me. If he wanted my assistance, he would come to me. Now what do? You wait until your child comes to you. It's hard though, right? And maybe though it persists and it goes a lot longer than normal and you're like, something's not right. What do? Trust the nudge. That is your K.I.S.S to keep it simple strategy. You got to trust it. And use it as a guide for your child's growth and development without getting stuck in doubt or fear. Because you see, that's the problem with us as parents. I mean, come on, let's just be real here for a minute, okay? We're taking all the pretty things off. We're not going to make it a highlight reel today. We're going to sit here and say, you know what? There are times that my children, I barely get through the day and I'm going to go and put my head on the pillow and the only place I want to go is in the shower so no one sees all the tears flowing from me. You've been there, haven't you? It's hard. And you're like, I don't know how to get through this. I don't know how to help them. I don't know how to drag them out of the ditch. But I know that I know that I know. Trust the nudge. But you can't get stuck in the doubt or fear. You can't get stuck in the what ifs. You can't also get stuck in the, oh, I should have done that. If you're on the other side. Because that's a hard place to be too. As parents, the lifetime of watching your child unfold creates a deep intuitive knowing. It's that nudge. Something's worth your attention. You're like, I don't know what it is, but it's something. And let me tell you this, if you haven't had that nudge, and be honest, it's confession day, then you need to pay more attention. Like seriously, don't be an absentee parent. Don't be one that says, oh, I'm here, but I'm really not. Oh, I know a few of those. They will be unnamed in this episode. But the cool thing is they know that they're that and they've gotten better. But at the beginning, they didn't know that that's what they were. And so it was like, oh, what do? And then you have those who never get it. Everything is to revolve around them. All I can do and say in that regard is pray for that parent. Because no matter what you do, you're not going to change it. You're not going to change it if you're your spouse, if it's an ex, if it's a great friend, or even just an acquaintance that you know from your kids at school. You can't change them. They have to be willing to change. And so if you're that parent that's looking on, and especially if they are related to you, right, meaning that they are part of the family, then all you can do, honestly, is take it to God and say, Lord, come on. And then pay attention to the child and help them the best that you can, right? Trust your nudge with them. Don't try to control the parent because it's not going to work. And by the way, you're not controlling the child either when you're trusting the nudge. You're not. It's this way of, how do I lead my child? How can I discipline them? How can I disciple them? How can I train them up to know that this is the way that they're supposed to go? And if they go a different way, I've raised them, trained them up, that they will eventually come back to it. Let me tell you, you got to do the earthly stuff, but don't forget the heavenly stuff. Please don't. God can work miracles where man can't touch anything. Trust the nudge. So what does it look like in real life? Like seriously. Because, if we're going to let all the dirty laundry hang out, and sometimes we literally mean that, because I don't know how many basketfuls that you have, but I know how many basketfuls that I have. Actually, I have to admit this. My baskets are getting less and less. Why? Because I'm technically an empty nester. I know. This is a 911 moment, news breaking moment here. Technically, I am and my husband are an empty nester. All of our children have officially moved out. Now that I've said that out loud to the entire world, who's moving back in? You know, when you say something, you're like, oh, I shouldn't have shared that. Then it's like, oh, someone's coming back. Well, guess what? My door will always be open. My children will always have a place in my home. And my husband and I both believe that. That doesn't mean that when they come back that there may not be some hard discussions or lots of fun, right? It doesn't have to be one or the other. But usually if they're coming back, there's a transition happening in their life. Sometimes it's a great transition, right? Sometimes it's, hey, Mom, I'm moving, but I can't get in for 2 weeks at place, so can I come and hang with you and Dad? Okay, fine, we can do that. What are we going to do with your stuff? You know, we figured that out. That's fine. But then you have those that it's, I'm not doing real well. I'm in a bad position and I need some help here. And you have those too. And sometimes you just need the door open because your child just needs you. And they just need to come home. It doesn't matter if you're an empty nester like I am now officially, which I really don't think about it that way. But literally I am an empty nester. Like we just moved our youngest out. Like I'm like, that really did happen. And I don't think I said anything to you about it. So, hey, like I said, news breaking moment here. But it doesn't change my love for them. In fact, my heart grows even more. And some people would probably scratch their head and go, how? How can it grow more? Because they're away. You're not going to see them as much. I'm like, no, I may actually see them more than when I did when they were living with me as they got older. Why? Because now they want to be around me, because they actually miss me, because I'm not there. You're not going to be taken, for granted as much as if you were always around. There is a difference. And we've noticed as our older children, we have 5 children, so it's easy for us. We've been in transition for a long time. But to be officially like empty nesters, oh my goodness. Well, there will be some fun stories yet to come. But in all of it, regardless of where you are, empty nesters all the way down to we're just starting our family, you got to trust the nudge. And the nudge is N.U.D.G.E. And I want to use that as an acronym to really focus on how you can help your child when you know that you know that you know. Notice the small shifts. Parenting is detail work. If anybody told me, well, for me, it really wouldn't apply because I am pretty detail oriented. But if there was an actual manual that said, you got to be detailed, you got to know the ins and outs of everything to be a parent, we wouldn't have very many parents in this world. Because there's a lot of people who are not detail oriented. And there's nothing wrong with that, right? We're all made differently, and that's fabulous. But when I say detailed, you got to be paying attention. You got to be observant. You've got to be willing to put the puzzle pieces together. You got to listen to their tone of voice. You got to listen to their language. You got to watch how they move. Are they making eye connection? What are they wearing? How does their hair look? Are they taking baths and when? And you're like, I'm exhausted. I know. Notice the small shifts. Because when your gut nudges you, it's usually triggered by subtle changes, a new mood, a quiet withdrawal, or a pattern just threading through daily behavior. Notice these shifts without dismissing them or blowing them up. Don't go either direction, right? Don't go to the extreme one way or the other. Your nudge is rooted in the sum of these small signals, in these small shifts. You got to consider all of it. And all takes first by noticing the small stuff. Number 2, you understand your bias. Your feelings and your stress or history can color your instincts, right? Maybe what has happened to you personally, your experiences, it can cloud what you see. So be cautious of that. Make sure you pause and ask, is this nudge coming from a place of clarity or worry? Clarity and concern, right? Be honest with yourself. When feelings run high, it's harder to trust the nudge accurately. You need to ask yourself more questions. So ground yourself with perspective before moving forward. You got to know from where you're coming from and make sure that you cover the 360. And I like to think of it that way. It's funny. This is going to sound really strange, but working on carpet cleaning, and I was doing some YouTube searching because I wanted to work specifically on this one area. Anyway, it's a long story. I won't go into it. But I was doing some digging into the YouTube channels, and I was like, okay, I want to know how people carpet clean. I mean, I've been doing it for years. I have 5 kids. We've had animals galore. I mean, we haven't had them now, but because obviously we said goodbye to our last one earlier this year in January, our little English bulldog. Well, he wasn't little, Rhino, and we miss him. We miss him for sure, but we know we made the right decision for him. And you look at that and you're like, okay, so I want to clean. I want to make sure I'm just really doing some stuff here. And so I wanted to get some perspective, right, on the YouTube channels. And so I'm looking, and I'm telling you right now, I do more books than I do YouTube channels. I know it's confession day, so listen up. I might be telling you more secrets today. But I came across this one dude, and it wasn't like it was this fabulous thing. It was very basic, and he does carpet cleaning, and he's just an easygoing guy. And he says, you need to vacuum, and you need to vacuum in a 360-degree manner. And I'm like, I know. That's exactly what you need to do. And I'm sure people are like, 360 degrees? Why would you vacuum 360 degrees? Because the way the nap falls. It's going to fall the way that you walk in it. And so if you're walking into a room and you're always going into the room, the nap's going to fall the way you walk into the room. And it's going to lay down there more white because there's more traffic going in than there is coming out. It's harder. And so if you want to clean an area, you need to vacuum in all directions, so a full 360. Now, so if you really want to get your carpets clean by just vacuuming alone, do a 360 vacuum. Now, I will tell you this, it's going to take a lot longer, but it is so worth it because you get all the dirt. And I'm telling you, empty out your little vacuum, start and vacuum one direction, empty that out, make note of it, empty it out, do it again in another direction, empty that out, do it in another direction, empty that out, and then do it another direction. So basically you're doing 4 different directions, north, south, east, and west, okay? Seriously. And then you can kind of do some corners here and there by going, southeast and northwest or whatever. And when you do that, I'm telling you, you're going to continue to get stuff. And technically, if you want me to be really, really honest with you, you need to do that kind of vacuuming 360 until you don't pull up any more dirt. Seriously. Because a lot of times we're just going, oh, we're getting it, but it's just the surface level. Okay? This is what I'm talking about right here. Understand your bias. I know you're thinking, Christiane, where does a 360 have to do with vacuuming and nudging? Well, I'm bringing you back, I promise. You got to understand your bias. You got to look at it from a 360 degree, right? All around, north, south, east, west, southeast, northeast, northwest, north, south. Oh my goodness. Southwest. I'll eventually get it right. It's the weekend, right? What can I tell you? You got to look at all sides because your experiences, your feelings, your stress, your history, what happened to you as a child, what happened to you when you were in middle school or college, all of that is going to have a bearing on, should I be concerned? Oh, wait, maybe I should. And maybe you're blowing something out of proportion, or maybe you're not paying enough attention, right? Those are 2 extremes, and then you can have everything in the middle. That's why you got to ground yourself with the perspective of the 360 before moving forward. See, I told you I'd bring you back around. All right, number 3, D, dig deeper, don't jump. The nudge isn't an emergency alarm. It's merely a prompt to investigate. It's that bing, bing that you get, right, when you get a text message or whatever thing you want to go off in your head. It's reminded you to, hey, look, pay attention, seek facts. Gently ask questions. Seek input from teachers, caregivers, dance instructors, coaches, and in their sports league, experts that you trust, good friends even. Go talk, ask questions. Let this deeper digging confirm or calibrate your initial instinct. In other words, you're really looking at this from a factual perspective. Now, you do have to take into consideration feelings, okay? They do exist. Don't ignore them, but don't live by them. Okay? There is a big difference. So dig deeper. Don't jump. Number 4, G, get intentional with action. Trust is not passive. No, it's not. Once you notice, once when you understand and dig, you must act. Right? So you got to get intentional with action, but be careful. Set small, deliberate steps. Talk with your child more. Adjust routines. Try new ways of connection. But you do want to be careful to avoid drastic moves until you have a full picture. And at some point, yes, you might be one who says, okay, we've got to have an honest heart-to-heart conversation. But it can't be from a judgmental perspective, okay? So be very cautious about that. And then finally, number 5, E, evaluate and adjust. After you act on your nudge, reflect. You got to see, did I really have actions that clarified the concern, or was I a little out of line? Could I have done something different? Did I structure my assistance appropriately? Did new information shift your understanding? Be willing to refine your approach. Parenting is a cycle of learning and adapting, right? And it's all led by your intuition, but grounded in results. That intuition, my opinion, if you're a believer, you're connected to God. Pay attention to it. Don't dismiss it. Now, there are some things that I will just tell you this. We've got a lot of thespians when it comes to our children. They are good at acting. And they might win an Emmy. And you may not see the red flags. So if this is something that's kind of bringing something up within you that happened years ago, do not carry that guilt. Okay? Take it to the cross. Leave it with God. Let him take it. You cannot change anything that happened prior to right now. But you can make the adjustments from here on out. So don't let all of this consume you to be like, am I not doing what I'm supposed to be doing? You're doing the best at the time that you were doing it, that you knew how. Don't beat yourself up over it. But can we improve? Oh, by golly, we can. Even I can. I might just now be graduating into empty nesterhood, but let me tell you, my house is not going to be an empty nest. I already have plans on when we're going to come together. I already have plans for those family evening dinners or family weekend gatherings. Oh, it's going to happen and it's going down. Why? Because family matters to me. And as you go through these different things, like for me, some people, have asked me, are you sad? Like, do you feel like the house is quiet? I'm like, oh no, you do not know me. I make enough noise all by myself. And then my husband comes home. He's like, aren't you going somewhere? Like, can you go like in another room and so I can have some quiet? I'm like, oh no, I light it up. I'm playing music. I'm dancing. I'm singing. I'm writing. I'm recording. We're doing stuff for the TV show. We're doing, writing, cleaning, whatever it is, right? You just go through and all of a sudden now it's not like my house has become necessarily more empty. It's actually become more full. But it's different. And as we move through this transition, I'll share with you kind of what I've experienced, because I know some of you have gone through empty nesting. You're in the middle of it. Maybe you've got a few gone, but not all gone. And let me tell you, my personal opinion, you don't ever want your kids to be always gone. Always have that door open and make sure they know it. Always. Even if that means that they're bringing home baggage, it's okay. You'll get through it. Don't be afraid of the trash, because God's got you. You're doing the best you can. Use the nudge as your parenting compass, right? And when you follow the nudge, you trust your instincts and you make smart moves that keep your child's growth on track. It keeps them coming back because you care, because you love unconditionally. See, this isn't about being the right parent. It's about being the best parent in the manner that God wants you to do and how he wants you to. He's given you an incredible responsibility to raise up children and to continue to love and nurture them as they grow older, even if they're not underneath your roof. No, you're not responsible for their decisions as they get older. They are. But you have to trust yourself and then trust your nudge to be like, I did what I could. Now they get to make the decision. But if they are in this state of question marks, if they are going through something, regardless of their age, obviously you need to talk to them. Trust the nudge. Go through the process. And if it's something that's a little bit dangerous and you're a little concerned about having a heart-to-heart, then bring somebody else that they would feel comfortable being around and having a conversation with. Don't bring someone that you think, oh, they're just going to solve the problems and everything's going to be fine. No. You need to bring somebody that they trust, and then in turn that you trust, which sometimes it's hard. It might be bringing in grandma. It might be bringing in an auntie or a best friend's mom. Might be bringing in a coach. Utilize your resources, right? That nudge, trust it. You know because you know. And in all things, make sure you're giving it to God. I can't stress that enough. I mean, there are things that have happened in my life with 5 kiddos, and now we've added 2 grandbabies. And let me tell you, my knees are worn, but that's how they should be. Our knees shouldn't be something that is just, well, and understand this. You don't have to be on your knees to pray, okay? I'm just saying that because then people are like, Christina, I really have to have my knees worn? No, you don't. It's a figure of speech, but not, okay? You can literally and figuratively be on your knees. But when I say that, I'm saying take it to God in prayer. Talk to him. Don't try to be a parent by yourself. There's going to be some hard CRAP that you face. And some of it that you're like, how did I even get here? But I promise you, at some point you'll get to the other side. I can't tell you what it'll look like. I can't tell you that it's going to work out the way you think it should. But you'll figure it out. And you just got to trust God. Trust the nudge. Trust yourself. Sometimes you may have to be the one that says, okay, I don't really like to do this, but I'm going to. Why? Because I have to mend the fences. And I don't really want to. But they may not be at the stage in their life where they're mature enough to understand, right? Trust the nudge. Give it to God. It's amazing how many things that we are taught from our children, good, bad, and ugly, right? And I know when you have a baby and you're holding them in your arms, and regardless of when you've had a child, whether you physically have given birth to them or you've adopted them at their age, whenever you have had them for the very first time, and you've held them close, it's like, oh my goodness, I'm responsible for this little thing. But with God, nothing is impossible. Go in peace, be present, be incredible, be you. I love you so very much. I cannot wait to see you on the other side. Blessings, hugs, and lots and lots of love. We'll talk to you real soon. Have a glorious, blessed weekend. Love ya. Bye-bye.
Feeling inspired, ready to train for life, and love your journey? Visit CreateYourNow.com for more incredible resources to help you along the way. We'll see you next time on Create Your Now, Your Best Selfie. And remember, always be sure you consult your physician before beginning any health and fitness plan.